Buenos días, clase. Gracias por entregarme su tarea. Thank you for handing in your work to me. A few reminders. Please read the directions first before you complete the assignment. And I'm hoping that you're watching the video first before you try to do the assignment. If I send a Google document that you cannot edit, please read the directions or reread the directions. I may want you to copy the information that you see in the document into your Spanish composition book, especially if it's vocab. I'll definitely want you to copy the vocabulary into your composition book. So when a document will be that when you receive a document that you need to have access to edit, you will have access already. You wouldn't have to request it. So when I give you a document that says vocabulary or please copy the directions, if you open up the document and it says please copy into your composition book, that's for you to look at the document as a guide and copy what you see into your composition book. When we write our vocabulary down, it helps us to remember it. If you want to keep your own separate Google Drive where you're retyping the information, you can do that on your own and just either take a picture or submit, share it with me so that I can see it if you'd like to do that. But if you'd like to use a pencil, a lápiz, and write it down in your composition book, that way will really help you to remember the vocabulary that you're given. Again, if you cannot make a deadline, a due date, please let me know so we can work something out. And gracias, thank you for those of you who reached out and we worked something out. Vamos a repasar. Let's review our vocab. Hola. Repite, hola. Buenos días. Repite, buenos días. Buenas tardes. Repite, buenas tardes. Buenas noches. Repite, buenas noches. ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo. Me llamo. ¿Y tú? Repite, ¿y tú? Mucho gusto. Repite, mucho gusto. Igualmente. Repite, igualmente. Muy bien. How would this conversation change if you were talking to an adult? ¿Recuerdas? Remember that in Spanish, in Español, we ask questions to adults and people with titles like Mr. or Mrs., Doctor, Pastor. We have to change the question when we're talking to an adult. So, ¿cómo te llamas would change when we're talking to an adult. When we ask an adult a question, like when we want to ask their name, we would say, ¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo se llama usted? And let me just look and find my sheet. And I think, yep, I put it up. And I want to show you actually our word wall. This is all the vocab so far in only a few lessons that you have learned. So, muy bien. ¿Cómo se llama usted? Remember, usted means you. We talked about this last class. And this usted is the you that we use for adults. Do you see the difference? ¿Cómo te llamas? For when we're using it, what we call the to form. And ¿Cómo se llama usted? When we're talking to an adult. And they both mean, what's your name? You'll have a worksheet attached to this assignment where we're reviewing tú and usted. And it's really important that we go over this because you're going to be getting más preguntas, more questions in Spanish So we want to look at the difference between the two. So attached to this assignment, attached to this lesson, one of your assignments will be to complete the tú and usted worksheet. Now, let's look at an example conversation. If you were talking to one person, is a younger person talking to an adult. Now I'm going to pretend my name is Thomas or Tomas in Spanish, and I'm going to put this hat on and pretend I'm younger. Now Thomas is going to be speaking to Señora Melendez. Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Cómo se llama usted? Señora Melendez is now speaking. Me llamo Señora Melendez. ¿Y tú? Me llamo Tomás. Mucho gusto. Igualmente, Tomás. Mucho gusto. So in that exchange, you see that the younger person, Tomás, says, ¿y usted? Or ¿cómo se llama usted? And then Señora Melendez says, ¿y tú? Because I'm an adult, I can say to someone younger than me, ¿y tú? And you? Now, if I asked Tomás' name, and I said, ¿cómo te llamas? And he said, me llamo Tomás. ¿Y usted? Now he's asking my name. So he's saying, and you? But ¿y usted form because I'm the adult. So that's how that question would go. It's important that when you're talking to an adult and you want to say and you would say ¿y usted? Vamos a repasar la otra pregunta. We're going to review the other question that we talked about, ¿cómo estás? And again, ¿cómo estás is another question that when we talk to an adult, ¿cómo está usted? Repite, ¿cómo está usted? Muy bien. And let me just grab it from our word wall. ¿Cómo está usted? Repite, ¿cómo está usted? So that means, how are you? Just like ¿cómo estás if I was talking to someone younger than me. Same question, but this is directed to an adult. So we say, ¿cómo está usted? And remember, the choices, the answers are still the same. Whether I'm an adulto, an adult, or a child, a niño, or a teenager, joven, I'm going to give the same answer. I would say, yo estoy. Recuerdas, yo estoy means, remember, yo estoy means I am. Yo estoy. Repite. Muy bien. So, if I wanted to say, si yo quiero decir, if I wanted to say, I am well or I'm good, I would say, yo estoy bien. Repite, yo estoy bien. Muy bien. Now, if I wanted to say I'm very well or I'm very good, yo estoy muy bien. Repite, yo estoy muy bien. Maybe I'm not feeling great. Maybe I kind of feel bad. Maybe I could be upset or sick. I don't feel well. Or maybe I'm just angry or getting upset. I would say, yo estoy mal. Repite, yo estoy mal. Muy bien. Maybe I'm just feeling all right. Maybe I'm just okay. And recuerdas, remember, there are lots of different ways to say this in Spanish. And this is one way, but we also can say two more ways, and I'll review that. The most common way, yo estoy así, así. Repite, yo estoy así así. We can also say, yo estoy regular. Yo estoy regular. Repite, yo estoy regular. Muy bien. Up the last one. Yo estoy más o menos. Yo estoy más o menos. Repite, yo estoy más o menos. Muy bien. So, those two questions, ¿cómo está usted or ¿cómo estás? Both mean how are you. We ask the question differently, but our answers are still the same. If I'm saying I am, yo estoy. If I'm saying my name is, whether I'm an adult or a teenager or a child, me llamo. So answers are the same, but the question changes when you're talking to an adult. So let's see, where are we? Now, ahora. If we wanted to ask, where is somebody from? That question, if you're meeting someone new, this is another greeting question, una pregunta de los saludos, a greeting question, and you want to say, where are you from? We would say, if you're talking to someone your age or younger, ¿de dónde eres? Repite, ¿de dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? Ahora, now, if we're talking to an adult and you'd like to know where the adult's from, ¿de dónde es usted? ¿De dónde es usted? Repite, ¿de dónde es usted? Muy bien. Both preguntas, both questions mean, where are you from? And the answer is going to be the same. Again, the answer doesn't change. The question does. But the answer, when I want to say I am from, let's see if I can find it. I'm going to write it really quick. To answer this question, it's going to be the same, no matter adult or child. Yo soy de. Repite, yo soy de. Yo soy de means I'm from. There are two ways to say I am in Spanish. Yo soy and yo estoy. Now, we are going to be talking about the two different ways and when do we use them as we move along in Spanish. But just so you know, when I'm talking about my feelings, how I feel, happy, sad, tired, I'm going to use the yo estoy, I am. And that's one difference. In English, you say, I'm tall, I'm short, I'm pretty, I'm scared. In Spanish, or I am kind. In Spanish, there is a difference when we talk about things that change and things that are more permanent when we want to say I am. So just know for feelings, yo estoy. Where are you from? ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde es usted? Both have the same answer. Yo soy de. Por example, ¿de dónde eres? Yo soy de Filadelfia. Yo soy de Filadelfia. Where are you from? I'm from Philadelphia. So that's another question we can ask someone. Para preguntar a una persona, we can ask a person where they're from. Now, what if we wanted to ask about somebody else. Like, por ejemplo, the first day of school, for example, maybe a new person in your class and you see them and you want to know, who is that person? Who is she? Or who is he? To ask that question, vamos a preguntar, we're going to ask, ¿quién es? ¿Quién es? Repite, ¿quién es? ¿Quién es? Well, ¿quién means who, and es is. Who is? Now, we have two choices here. I can say, cover this up and say, ¿quién es él? Who is he? Or, ¿quién es ella? ¿Quién es ella? Repite, ¿quién es ella? Which is, who is she? ¿Quién es él? Repite, ¿quién es él? Who is he? Notice the accent over the the E in this little word for he. Very important. If you leave it off, it means the. So we need to keep that little accent over the E in this word to mean he. So, ¿quién es? Or I could just point and say, ¿quién es? Like, who is that? Okay? So, very important. ¿Quién es? If we want to point and find out who is somebody. Now, let's see where we are. I have papers all over here. The last question we're going to look at is asking somebody's age. That is one last question we're going to ask for in terms of our greetings questions. We know, ¿cómo te llamas? What's your name? ¿Cómo estás? How are you? ¿De dónde eres? Where are you from? Now the fourth one, el cuarto, we're going to ask, how old are you? For the to form, the informal form, we're going to ask, ¿cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos años tienes? Repite, ¿cuántos años tienes? And the usted form, the adult form of this question, would be, ¿cuántos años tiene usted? ¿Cuántos años tiene usted? Repite, ¿cuántos años tiene usted? Remember, the usted question is for older people with titles, Mr., Mrs., adults, people that we cannot call them by their first name. And so this form is called the formal. When we use usted, that is the formal. And when we don't use usted, we call it the to form. We're talking to people that we know by their first name, and it's called informal, more casual. ¿Cuántos años tienes? Is a casual, informal way to ask someone. But the answer is always going to be the same. Whether, if I'm asking someone whether they're an adult or they're a child, they're going to have to say, I am this or I am that. So, but this one doesn't say yo estoy or yo soy. It has this word here. And really, you could put the yo in front of this or just leave the yo off and say tengo. Tengo, and I put a little blank because you would say your age, años. So if I'm 9 years old, tengo 9 años. 10 years old, tengo 10 años. 11 years old, tengo 11 años. Repite, tengo 11 años. Tengo 10 años. Tengo 9 años. Muy bien. Really what this question is asking is not how old are you. ¿Cuántos means how, like how much years do you have? How many years do you have is really the question. And then the answer is I have, because this comes from the verb tener. Tengo, I have blank years. But in English, we don't ask how many years do you have. We say, how old are you? So we translate that question to English. How old are you? And the answer, I am blank years old. Tengo años. So those are your preguntas, your new questions, and a review, a repaso of the other older questions of vocab that we have been learning. And this is the assignment. 3rd grade. You're going to complete the tú and usted worksheet. You're going to be able to type on the worksheet that I am sending to you. That's attached to this lesson. I also want you to send me a video of having a conversation asking the new questions. It could be, you could use ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo estás? And the new question, ¿De dónde eres? Or ¿Cuántos años tienes? I'm going to give you a choice. You can use 1 or 2 previous questions and a new question, so it'll be 3. And you're going to be having a conversation with somebody else. Now, what I did was put a hat on to show, pretending to be somebody else. You can do that too. You can use a prop to show that you're another person and go back and forth talking to yourself. That should be fun. So you're going to send me a video of that. And I want you to attach the video, of course, to Google, upload it to Google Classroom along with the worksheet. So 3rd grade, you can stop the video now and get started. All the directions, by the way, will be in Google Classroom. 4th grade and 5th grade, let's see, actually just 4th grade. Your assignment is you're going to complete the tú and usted worksheet for 4th grade attached to this assignment. You are also going to be making a video of yourself having a conversation. I want you to use at least 2 of the older questions that we've learned, the previous vocab, and 2 of the new ones. So, ¿Cuántos años tienes? ¿De dónde eres? Create a conversation between you and another person. You're going to be using the tú form. So, create that conversation. You can use a prop when you're the different person. Send me the video, upload it to Google Classroom. And again, the directions will be on there if you forget on the assignment. So you can stop the video now. 5th grade. 5th grade, you're going to complete the tú and usted worksheet, attach this video, and you also are going to create a conversation between 2 people, but one of the people has to be an adult. So remember, you're going to be using the usted form for one person. I would write out the conversation first, and then again, grab a prop. If you're going to be an older person, have fun with it. Complete the video and send it in to me. You need to use both the new questions. The other choice you have, 5th grade, is the ¿Quién es? You can create a conversation with the greeting and the how are you, that kind of question, and then go into asking about somebody else in the room. ¿Quién es él? ¿Quién es ella? Actually, you know what? I'm going to say don't do that because we didn't learn the answer to that yet. Actually, I'll teach you the answer right now, 5th grade. 5th grade, you are going to have a chance to use this. And for 4th, I'll review it for 4th grade and 3rd grade next class. And get my marker. So for ¿Quién es él? ¿Quién es ella? Who is she? Who is he and who is she? If you want to say the names for that person, here it is. If you're talking, want to know the boy's name, if you're pointing at a boy and you say ¿Quién es él? I'm going to erase that. All right, here we go. Él se llama. Repite. Él se llama. Él se llama means if someone's pointing at a guy and said, ¿Quién es él? And I would say, Él se llama, and then his name. His name is, or he is called this. So if someone pointed and said, ¿Quién es él? Él se llama Tomás. His name is Thomas. So that's how you would answer that. And I'll include all the vocabulary attached to this assignment so you'll know what this is. Now, if it's a girl you want to know the name of, I'm just going to use my marker and I'll show you. It's basically the same phrase except we're adding, say, ella. Ella se llama. Repite, ella se llama. So ella se llama and él se llama. Both of these, her name is or she is called, his name is or he is called, is an answer to this question, ¿Quién es? So in a conversation you can say, ¿Quién es él? Él se llama Tomás. ¿Quién es ella? Who is she? Ella se llama Rebecca. Her name is or she is called Rebecca. You can have a conversation using that question as well. And it's the same for tú or usted. ¿Quién es él or ella? I can say that to a child or an adult if I'm asking that name. That question does not have an usted form. It's the same for both. All right. So your assignment, 5th grade, with all the directions, that might be kind of confusing the way I explained it right now, but don't worry, the directions will be repeated in your assignment attached to Google Classroom. That's all I have for today. Adios.